Reflection Tuesday for July 14th, 2020. If you have a chance to read today's Gospel from Matthew, Jesus is a bit put off by the cities of Chorazin and Bethsaida. We get a sense of Jesus' frustration because he did most of his mighty deeds in front of these people, healing the sick, making the blind see, the lame walk, in front of these huge crowds. And they all said, don't care. In his reproach, Jesus is saying, wait a minute, you've seen what I've done. You can't just stand there and say, You can respond to me now, or you will respond to me later, guaranteed. And though it sounds like a threat, in reality, it's simply the truth. This straightforward gospel makes several valuable points that are important for us today. First, with every blessing comes responsibility. If you've had any blessing in your life, then you're already responsible. The greater the blessings, the greater the responsibility to acknowledge Christ, to deepen your faith, to pass that faith on, and to be a witness. Imagine that Christ bestows this huge blessing on you, then you die, and you arrive at your required come to Jesus meeting, and he says, hey, remember that cool blessing you got? How come you never said anything to anyone? How is it I never got any credit? How is it my father never got any credit? How is it your heart was not changed? Awkward. So blessings bring responsibilities, and miracles bring serious responsibility. And that's our second point. Jesus never performed a miracle just to show off. The goal of every single sign, of every single miracle, was to change hearts. Miracles, even today, are evidence that Jesus is involved with us, with our world. Third point. I mentioned that Jesus' reproach sounds like a threat. He says, I tell you, it will be more tolerable for Tyre and Sidon on the day of judgment. That sounds threatening. Pretty strong language. It sounds like judgment. Well, quite simply, it is. If it looks like judgment and it smells like judgment, it's probably judgment. But in this case, because it's Jesus doing it, it's absolutely 100% objective. And this loops us right back around to our very first point about responsibility. We can't be like the people of Chorazin and Bethsaida and take all the blessings and miracles for granted. Or we get to the point where we become like King Herod. Hey, Jesus, do another card trick for me. Jesus does what he does so that we will be Christ-centered rather than self-centered. Also, I think those who have more blessings, more knowledge of God, a miracle or two, or because of their position and knowledge of God, who should know better, have a greater responsibility. And I think for them, there will be a 100% objective, but higher standard of judgment. And that makes perfect sense. Let's say we are all on a scale somewhere between an innocent 5-year-old who goes to God early on this end and a seasoned sinner, maybe a deacon, on this end. The 5-year-old for sure will be treated with gentle, loving mercy, hugs and kisses at judgment time. On the other hand, the seasoned sinner, maybe a deacon, will certainly be judged with a higher standard because much more was expected. And even if the judgment is harsh, it's still going to be 100% objective and righteous because Jesus doesn't hold a grudge. He doesn't do revenge. You get what you get because by your actions and decisions, you choose it. And I've said it before. It's not easy to go to hell. You really have to want to go. You really have to work hard against God's love and mercy to end up there. But if you end up there, pretty much, you choose it. So here's the interesting question. Where are you on the scale between the innocent 5-year-old and the not-so-innocent seasoned sinner? Have you taken inventory of your blessings and counted up your miracles? Have you responded to those blessings? Your answers will then tell you how Christ-centered you are. Simply compare the blessings and miracles to your response. And if you're thinking, what blessings? Did you wake up this morning? Maybe start there. Our loving God gives us a lot of room to make big mistakes. I can prove that, unfortunately. But in the end, he is 100% objective. Perhaps the one not so objective thing he does, by human standards, is this. No matter what we do, all we have to say is, I'm sorry, and mean it, and he forgives us. This too is a blessing you can choose. Peace be with you. Stay safe and healthy. See you next week.